Okay, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this conversation that I'm going to just start in a bit with Srikantan Kumarasamy, MCC, on demystifying the portfolio path. Um, the reason why I'm having this conversation is because after I completed my ACC the first time in 2017, the next time I went ahead and renewed it. And I made a decision not to do the PCC because I experienced a different form of coaching. But then earlier this year, at the beginning of this year, I decided that I must do the PCC. And I was looking up for information as to how I can go about doing the PCC without pursuing another coach training program. Because by then in the last 8 years I've done a lot of number of programs which are related to coaching, including NLP, and I had no clue how to go for the portfolio path. While one part of me was pulling towards that, my previous mentor coach who did the mentoring for me suggested that I don't look at the portfolio path because it's too complicated. So Shrikant, could you please share in the light of this, what exactly is the portfolio path and how is it that you chose to explore this and then you did your MCC through this path?
So portfolio path has been there forever, at least till the time from the time that I got to coach training in 2010. So ICF, when they started, what they did is, first they started with the ACTP program for credentialing. And then they offered portfolio as a route. So portfolio is basically, you can get coaching education from institutes which are not approved or accredited by ICF, yet they adhere to the ICF standards. When I say ICF standards, ICF definition of coaching, ICF core competencies, and ICF code of ethics. So if you have gone through any training which adheres to the ICF standard, ICF will acknowledge that as coaching education for your credential, whatever credential. It could be ACC, PCC, or MCC. Okay. Now, I'll just go back to a little bit of history. Until about 2 years ago, 2022, somebody could get their MCC directly without doing their ACC or PCC. Okay. And 2 years ago, they said somebody has to get their MCC. They have to complete at least PCC and get to MCC. So if you want to do a PCC, you don't have to complete an ACC. You can do it directly. But MCC, they put a stop. Now, traditionally, for MCC, ICF only had the portfolio path. They didn't have any other path. Okay. Before ICF moved to this coaching education of level 1, level 2, and level 3, which is being offered right now. So level 1 coaching education would mean that you are getting trained to get your credentials, ACC credentials. Level 2 means PCC and level 3 means MCC. Before that, for MCC, there was only a portfolio path. But training institutes, when they promoted their programs, they called it ACSTH. Okay, because earlier there was ACSTH and ACTP. The difference between ACSTH and ACTP is ACSTH stands for Approved Coach Specific Training Hours, which means an institute is approved to provide only coaching education. There are 5 requirements that anybody has to go through to get their credentials: coaching education, mentoring, performance evaluation, client coaching hours, and the exam. Out of the 5, ACHH, you had to deliver as a training provider only the coaching education. ACTP would mean accredited coach training program, meaning the performance evaluation and the mentoring was supposed to be done by the coach training provider. Okay? So that's the difference between ACHH and ACTP. Now ICF got rid of all of that 2 years ago. Now they've said level 1, level 2, level 3. They still have the portfolio path for all the 3 credentials. If somebody wants to get their ACC or PCC or MCC, the requirements will remain the same. The 5 requirements that I mentioned about coaching education, 10 hours of mentoring, client coaching hours, performance evaluation, and the exam. All this will remain the same regardless of what path you will take. The advantage of the portfolio path is you can go and get your education from different sources, find a mentor who will prepare to coach you at whatever level that you are in, ACC, PCC, whatever, and then you can apply. What is the advantage? Advantage is that if you've already done some coaching education, you don't have to go back and do a level 1 or level 2 or level 3. The reason is in the portfolio path, whenever you did the coaching education, let's assume that you started your coaching education in 2010, which is not approved by ICF, but it is still adhering to the ICF standards. Your client coaching hours will start from 2010 when you started your coaching education. Okay. So a lot of people don't know. This is very clearly visible, not visible, it's available on the ICF website. It has been there till from the time that I know of ICF in 2010 is when I got introduced. If you go to any coaching institute or a mentor, they may not encourage you because they say that the documentation to prove your coaching education adheres to the ICF standard is difficult. There is some truth in it. I also would, to an extent, will not agree because if you put your mind to it, so the way that I'm looking at is you have invested so much of money, you have invested time to do your coaching education, you invested time in coaching people, you already have invested so much of time, money, and effort. Why would you let it go because your documentation is difficult? You just have to get your mind to it and get the documentation done. It's not because, see, for example, today, if you have to do a level 1 program with any institute, you have to go through a minimum 3 months program.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And your client coaching hours will start only from the day that you start your level 1 program.
Yes.
So let's assume that 1st of December, you are enrolling for a level 1 program. You have to go through a minimum 3 months of the coaching education. Your client coaching hours will start only from the December 1st. But if you've already done coaching education, let's say about 2 years ago, and if you can prove that that coaching education that you did can be mapped to the ICF standards, code of ethics and the competence in all of that, why would you let it go? Because your coaching hours for the last 2 years, you will have done significant amount of client coaching and you will have invested so much of money in getting yourself educated. Compared to that, documentation shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. So that's the portfolio path. Of course, if you go to a training academy, they are not going to, what should I say? Recommend you to do the portfolio path because they don't make any money. The reason I am a big proponent or an advocate for portfolio path is because when I did my coach training for the first time, I got 50 hours from a coach training institute. And they very clearly said that we don't do mentoring. You can go and get your mentoring done by somebody else. And then you can choose to apply through the portfolio path. When I went, those days, I'm talking about 2010, 2011, India had very few training academies. So when I went to somebody, they said, no, we can't do mentoring alone. You will have to go through a coaching education program with us. It was significantly very high cost, and I didn't want to invest again. After 4 years, I went. They said the same thing. Because I didn't have a choice, I did my PCC training with them. So I already had about 50 hours of coach training when I did my ACC, and then I did the PCC. I got my 175. And I said, when I do my MCC, there is no way that I'm going to go to an institute because they ask for a lot of money. I will only do the portfolio path. And I reached out to a lot of MCCs who said, who didn't encourage me, and they discouraged me a lot, saying the documentation is difficult, this, that, and all that. I said, no, I'm going to do it the way that I want going to do it. Finally, one MCC said, I don't know what you're talking about, but if you want the 10 hours of mentoring, I'll give the mentoring. That's it. So I have gone through the struggle of figuring this portfolio, and I have become an advocate of portfolio today. That's my story.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I recall how I had my initial conversation with you, and then I went ahead and looked for a coach training provider because I was so confused as to whether I'm ready to apply through the portfolio path or not. And over time, the confidence that I was able to gain following the path that you suggested was incredible. And the best decision that I've taken this year is to pursue the PCC through the portfolio path. And that is one of the reasons why I'm having this conversation with you. So is it possible for someone who has um, just decided that they will do their ICF credential, let's say the ACC credential, they do not have any coaching experience, but they do have certain other education related to coaching, which may not be ICF accredited. Like we were talking about Abhishek, he wanted to explore, or Shripad was talking about this. So is it possible for someone who's not had any formal ICF accredited coach training to do the ACC through the portfolio path?
Yes, absolutely. So right now I have somebody going through the ACC portfolio path with me. This person did a ICF CCE program for 20 or 25. I don't remember the exact number of hours. And then they have done some designing and delivering of coaching for managers or some kind of a program like that. And then they went and got some CCs from the ICF learning portal. They were able to get their 60 plus hours. And right now I have approved a recording for submission, and they will submit it anytime soon.
Okay, that's so wonderful. And I also wanted to ask you, so there are different ways to get the CCs. And one is to go through the formal coach training, and then, of course, the ICF learning uh, portal is there. What are some of the other ways for people to get CCs, especially when they choose the portfolio path?
There are multiple ways of doing it. One is they can enroll for a CC program, which is being provided by a training provider. All the CC programs which are approved by ICF is there on the ICF portal. I'll just remind me, I'll just show it to you where it is, where you can find.
Sure.
You can just go choose, and some of them are available online. Some of them are available only as an in-person thing. You can do that. Any CC program which is approved by ICF, it is approved for a maximum of 40 hours. Okay, earlier it was approved for more than 40 hours, but 2 years ago when ICF changed their rule for level 1, level 2, level 3, they reset everything and said any program that a training provider will provide, the maximum can be only 40, right? Let's assume that they had a program of 75 hours. Then they have to split that into 2 modules and provide as module 1 is 40 hours and module 2 is 35 hours thing, right? So that is one way of getting your CCEs. And the other thing is chapters, ICF chapters, local chapters will conduct events. And when they conduct events, if they have applied for a CCE for that particular event session, it could be a 1 hour session, 1.5 hour session, or when they do conclaves, they may do 15 Cs, 20 Cs, or whatever. That is one way of getting ICF approved CCs. And of course, the learning portal has got, to my knowledge, I've done a catalog, I think about 200 to 250 cumulative educational hours. Some of them are 1 hour, some of them are 1.5 hour. Yeah, that's the way to accumulate those coaching education.
Okay, so many different ways to
Yeah.
accumulate coaching education.
Yeah.
I remember one of them asking, what's the most efficient path from ACC to PCC if we were to
Okay.
take the portfolio path?
So it's a personal choice. Okay. I'm a big advocate of the portfolio path. Having said that, it all depends on the person.
Mhm.
So let's assume that you got your ACC. Okay. The moment you got your ACC, that means you got your 60 hours of coaching education minimum, and you got your 100 hours of client coaching hours minimum, right? So from ACC to PCC, you're talking about another 65 hours of coaching education and then another 400 hours of client coaching hours, 10 hours of mentoring. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you go through the level 2 path for the PCC, then of course the institute that you enroll will take care of the mentoring and the performance evaluation. If you take the portfolio route, then you will have to find a mentor who will mentor you for a minimum of 10 hours and make sure that you are able to coach at the PCC level. And the 2 recordings you have to submit to ICF for the performance evaluation. Okay. Now, coaching education, because you're already an ICF credential coach, ACC, you can become a member of the global ICF Global. Learning portal is available for you for free. And then you can go get your coaching education for free. Okay. You are only paying for your mentorship of minimum 10 hours. And then your fee, application fee, will be significantly high compared to a level 2 path because the performance evaluation has to be done by an ICF assessor, 2 recordings. So the ICF will charge you for that. Okay. I have a slide towards the end. I mean, if you want me to show it, I pull up the, but if you compare the paths, financial implication, there's a significant amount of saving if you go through the portfolio path. I'll show you. There's a case study. I'll show it.
Sure. Yeah,
But
I was
it's a
about to
personal
ask
choice.
you. Yeah,
It's a personal choice.
Yeah. I was about to ask you, apart from my case study, do you have any other case studies to
I have a lot of
share?
case studies.
Okay,
I have a
great.
lot of case studies.
We look forward to that.
Yeah,
Before
sure.
we go there, so let's say someone has in their corporate life coached individuals or done any training program, which is like maybe 10 years back or 5 years back. They've done some programs which are not ICF accredited. Can they still use that particular education and experience for the portfolio path?
They can. As far as they can take that content or the syllabus of the coaching education and map the content to their competencies. It need not be all the 8 competencies also. It could be just a few competencies.
Okay, it could be
ICF
just
is,
4 or 5 also.
Yeah.
Okay.
ICF will accept it.
All right. That's great.
How
That
do
is
I
very
know all
interesting.
this? Ask this. How do I know? How do you know
Yeah.
all this? It's all in the website. It's all there in the website.
It's all there in the website, but then the website is also an ocean.
Yeah, Anita is asking, could you give example of such courses? Okay. What courses, Anita, if you can be very specific?
No, so what I was understanding is that, if you have done some training or some learning, say 5 years back, so how will you map it to the competencies? If you could just give an example, okay, so this course will map to this so that you get an understanding of how do you do it.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. Towards the end, just ask me that question. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Let me
Vinod is
finish
asking,
the, yeah.
Vinod is asking, can one accumulate CCEUs before getting to ACC and use that for the portfolio path to PCC? It's sort of linked to the question that I just asked you.
Yeah, that's what I told somebody is doing already.
Yeah.
Somebody who's applying for their ACC, that's what they're doing. So Vinod's question is, I gone through my coaching education to get my PCC. If I also do the courses in the learning portal, will it come handy for the next level of certification? Of course, yes, because a portfolio will allow you that. And especially it's from your learning portal, you don't have to prove anything. It's from ICF. So they have already approved it as a ICF. It's mapped to some competency.
So we don't need to worry about whether they are eligible or not. Preeti is asking, can certifications like DISC be counted? Yes.
Certifications, this means
Like
I didn't understand.
DISC certification.
Yeah,
Like everything DISC.
if they are very categorically, I know Hogan gives X number of CCEs. If DISC also will give, then you can take it. You have to write to DISC, and I mean, whoever is conducting the certification, ask them whether either they can give a letter saying that this content is mapped for ICF competencies. They will accept it. ICF will accept it.
As far as I know, because I've also done DISC, it comes under resource development.
Resource development.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not able to map to ICF core,
if you're not able to.
absolutely. If you're not able to map to core competencies, you have to. ICF will take it as a resource development. Yes, absolutely.
So I have a question. So you just then in that case, Sunita and Shri, just submit your certification that you have gotten. That's
Yes,
all. I mean,
that's
you
all.
don't have to then map or do anything like that because it will be counted towards RD.
RD, yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Shrikant, keen to or see some case studies, and you've been mentoring some people on the portfolio path. So could you share a little more about?
Yeah, what I will do is I will run through the slides very quickly, maybe about 15-20 minutes. So it's 7 p.m. now. I'll take about 15 minutes or outer limit 20 minutes to run through the slides, and then I'll keep the last 10 minutes for Q&A. Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So some of these things that I'm going to share, I've already spoken about it, but very quickly I'll just go through it. If you are not able to understand, just pause and put the question in the chat box. Once I finish my slides, I'll come and answer those questions. Sunita, you can collate those questions for me. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Sure.
Perfect. Okay. So demystifying the portfolio path. So how are we going to do it? We're going to keep it simple. So ICF credential requirements, coaching education, mentor coaching, client coaching experience, performance evaluation, ICF exams. So these are the 5 things. Regardless of which path you take, which credential you do, these are the 5 requirements. Okay. And then I will do a deep dive on the portfolio path. I'll show you a case study and then I'll do a Q&A. Okay. Now there are credentials, ACC, PCC, MCC. So let's look at what are the requirements under the 5 things that I mentioned. Coaching education experience, mentor coaching, performance, credential exam. So ACC, PCC, MCC. What is the coaching education for ACC? Minimum 60 hours. Experience is 100 hours minimum, 8 clients minimum. Mentor coaching, 10 hours by a PCC or an MCC or an ACC who have gone through a round of renewal, which means they should have been an ACC for a minimum of 3 years. Performance evaluation, 1 recording has to be passed by ICF. I'll come to the paths later. I'm just looking at the credentials now. credentialing exam, passing of the exam. Exam, okay, till, today is the day that they are launching the ACC exam. Till yesterday, it was a common exam for ACC, PCC and MCC. From today onwards, for ACC, there is one exam, PCC and MCC, they are calling the credential exam. Okay. Now, for PCC, minimum 125 hours of education, 500 hours of client coaching with minimum 25 clients, 10 hours of mentoring by PCC or an MCC, performance evaluation, passing 1 or 2 recordings, depending on the path that you will take. I'll talk about that in a little while. Passing of the credential exam. MCC, 200 hours of education, 2,500 hours of experience, 35 clients, 10 hours by MCC, passing 2 recordings, passing of the exam. Okay, so these are the requirements. Everything is there on the ICF website. Now, let's look at the coaching education. Coaching education, there is content on one side, there's delivery on the other side. Content means core competencies and resource development. Delivery method, synchronous and asynchronous. What does synchronous mean? Synchronous means the coaching education has to happen live, either in person or online. Okay. Asynchronous means, synchronous means that you as a participant should be able to interact with the instructor live. Asynchronous, you won't be able to. Either you're going through some recordings, or you're reading some material, or doing some assignments, or so on and so forth. Okay. So these are the content in the delivery method. Now, coaching education, 80% minimum should be core competencies. The remaining can be resource development. Okay. Balance. On the delivery method, minimum 50% has to be synchronous. The balance is asynchronous. So if you are doing a program which is giving you 100% core competencies, fantastic. If you are doing a program which is 100% synchronous, fantastic. This is a minimum requirement. Okay. Before the pandemic, the minimum requirement for synchronous was 75. During the pandemic, they made it 50%. Okay. Right. So all the information is there in this link. So ICF coaching education, these are the different types of education approved by ICF. ACSTH, I spoke to you about in the beginning, ACTP, CCE, continuing coach education, level 1, level 2, level 3. So this one, ACSTH and ACTP was there until 22 August. After that, they got rid of it and they have introduced level 1, level 2, and level 3. So as I told you, this is for ACC credentialing, this is for PCC credentialing, and this is for MCC credentialing. Okay. Coaching, continuing coaching education was primarily meant for renewals. So when you get a credential, every 3 years, it's a license that you get. Every 3 years, you have to renew it. If you have to renew it, you need to have a minimum 40 hours of continuing coach education. Okay. So 40 cc, 1 cc is equal to 1 hour of education. That's the way it is. Okay. And there also, out of the 40 cc's, I think about 32 should be core competencies. It could be resource development. I think, I don't know, but I think I'm right. Okay. Now 10 hours of mentoring. I just want you to look at this very carefully. There's a minimum requirements and mentor credentials. Minimum requirements is one-on-one mentoring and group mentoring, minimum 3 hours. Group mentoring, the balance. Mentor credentials need not be in the mentor register. So ICF maintains a mentor registry, right? You can register yourself as a mentor in the registry. Somebody is looking for a mentor, they can go search, and if they find you, they can reach out to you. But for you to get mentored, that mentor need not be in the mentor registry. However, they should have their credentials valid. Okay. So there are situations where I had somebody who went through MCC mentoring with some MCC coach. While applying, ICF said this person's credential is expired during the time that you got mentored. It is not valid. So you have to provide some other evidence. So this person had to wait and find another mentor and get mentored, and all of that happened. Okay, so I'm just saying, be careful about that. It's all there in this link. Client coaching experience, minimum requirements, and what is considered as paid coaching. Paid coaching hours should be, and then pro bono coaching hours. For ACC minimum 75, PCC 450, MCC 2250 paid coaching hours. Okay. For ACC is total 100, PCC 500, MCC 2500. Okay, in ACC's case, they allow up to 25% pro bono. Remaining PCC and MCC, they allow up to 10% pro bono. Okay. Now, paid coaching payment may be in any amount. It could be 1 rupee, 10 rupees, 100 rupees, 1000 rupees, 10,000, it doesn't matter. Barter of goods or services. What does it mean? You work with a consultant provides a service, you in turn provide coaching. That's a barter. Okay, peer coaching that you do, you coach another coach coaches you. That barter also is considered paid coaching. Okay. However, let's assume that you got into a peer coaching agreement with somebody. You coach the person and you did not give the opportunity for the other person to reciprocate. The other person could not coach you. That's not a barter. So your coaching is considered as pro bono. Okay, just be careful about that. So third-party coaching, somebody hires you and you be a coach, and then you are an internal coach for an organization. Okay, right. So everything is here in this. Now I'm going to do a deep dive on the portfolio. I've already spoken about it, but then I'll just go through it once again. You have to submit proof of coaching education. Documentation of the non-ICF program to ensure it meets ICF standards. Certificates, transcript of CC units for the training hours can be considered as coaching education. The reason is CC, the moment it is CC units, ICF has approved it. It's just a certificate. Submit proof of mentoring. What is the proof of mentoring to submit? There is no certificate, no letter, nothing you have to give. While you're applying, you just have to put the mentor's name, email ID, when did you start the engagement, when did you finish it, totally how many hours, out of that total hours, how many were group coaching, group mentoring hours. That's it, right? When you submit it, that mentor will get a trigger, email trigger immediately, and that mentor can challenge. If you have made a false claim, the mentor can challenge within 2 weeks. If the mentor doesn't challenge within 2 weeks, ICF will say, okay, the mentor is not challenged, so this is valid. They will take it. Okay. Log your coaching experience hours in the application. You have to put in your number of hours in the login, do a declaration. When we submitted for PCC, we had to upload the coaching logs. Now ICF does not ask you to submit the coaching log because of the GDPR regulation, but you have to do a declaration. Do the declaration. Submit recorded coaching sessions for performance evaluation. If it is ACC, you have to submit 1 recording. If it is PCC or MCC, you have to submit 2 recordings. The recordings length should be minimum 20 minutes, maximum 60 minutes. Anything less than 20 minutes or more than 60 minutes, they will not take it. They will reject it. Okay, and pass the ICF exam, ACC exam or credential exam. If it's a ACC credential, do the ICF ACC exam, which is getting launched today. If it's PCC or MCC, you do the credentialing exam. This is as same thing. There's no difference. But I'm just going to go a little deeper into what is considered as coaching education under the portfolio path. So everything else will remain same. Only the coaching education is going to be different. What is coach-specific education under portfolio path? You can get coach training from programs that ICF has already approved, meaning the CCEs. Okay. You can also get training from ongoing education providers recognized by the ICF or from ICF events and group meetings. I already mentioned this to you. If the training isn't pre-approved by the ICF, it still counts if it's focused on coaching skills, follows ICF coaching standards, and teaches you how to coach in the way the ICF agrees with. Teaching coach-specific training courses, which means the coach-specific education can be a program that you attended as a participant, or you taught a program. I mean, you delivered a workshop, you designed and delivered a workshop. So let's say for some organization, manager as a coach or leader as a coach or whatever, you designed and you delivered it. Yeah, it can be counted once. So let's assume you did a 2-day workshop for 16 hours. You could have done it multiple times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. You can't multiply 16 into 5 or 6. No. ICF will take it as 1. That's it. Okay. It's there in the website. I'm going to show you the screenshot. Non-coach specific education. What is not considered as coach specific education? Training that advertise for skills other than coaching does not count. If a coach might find those skills useful. Even if a coach might find those skills useful. Courses focus on personal growth for yourself, not on how to coach others, aren't accepted. Education in fields like psychology or counseling isn't considered coaching training unless it's specifically aimed at teaching you to be a coach according to ICF standards. Okay? Is there? Teaching as a coach specific education. I'm just coming back to the last bullet in the previous slide. Only counts as your coaching education if you made the course yourself. You designed it. You were the one teaching it. You designed it. You delivered it. The course focuses on coaching skills, lets you interact with the students, and follows ICF's main coaching rules. Code of ethics, core competencies, ICF definition of coaching. That's it. Even if the course checks all the boxes, you can only count it once, no matter how many times you have teach it. You design, it's a 2-day workshop. You delivered it. You delivered it multiple times. ICF doesn't care. It will only take that first 2 days of design. So let's assume that I'm just randomly taking this thing. Non-violent communication workshop. You are doing a non-violent communication workshop for 2 days, 16 hours. If you are able to map the content to the ICF competencies for 16 hours, you can log it as a 16 hours coach specific education. ICF will accept it. Okay. Okay. So these are the screenshots I'm showing. Coach specific education for ICF, right? Screenshots from this on this website. Whatever I showed in the slides, I just put it here. Education or training that is not accepted. I already put in the slide. I'm just showing it here. Preeti, I'll just come in a little while. I'll just go through. Teaching, coaching classes may not count, whatever. The language is very complicated. I just simplified it and put it in the slide. Okay. Right. Yeah, all of that. Okay. I'll park here, answer any questions that you may have, and then I'll come back to the slides again. Yeah, Preeti, go ahead.
So Shrikant, I had this question that multiple times. I understand that one course that you have taught maybe multiple times, it will be counted only once. But the content can be different for different audiences, right? And if supposingly I have taught emotional intelligence at various forums and with different audiences, and each time it gets tweaked a lot depending upon what the audience is. You just have to declare, will this EI course be considered a 2.5 hour, 4 hour, whatever workshop it is, multiple times, or it'll be one time only. You have to once. Chahe kitni baar padhaya ho, hai na? So once only, and then it'll be only declared. You don't have to, of course, there is no proof? I mean, proof as
No,
in
there is
the
a
evidence.
documentation. There's a
हाँ,
documentation.
ठीक है, I mean, okay,
Documentation formats, everything is there on the website.
okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, what other questions you all have? So I can answer those questions.
Tejaswini is asking if SHRM certified professional training is approved by the ICF.
I don't know. Please write to them and ask.
Abhishek, you had a question. Can you please come off mute and ask?
Sure. Yeah, so my question was, as I mentioned at the beginning, that I'm facilitating a lot of workshops for multiple corporate organizations. And these workshops are centered around aspects like conflict management, escalation management, feedback, giving and receiving, growth mindset. So, do you think there is a possibility of mapping this to the competencies which ICF asks for?
There is a possibility. The question is, who has designed this?
Right. So I am designing them and I am conducting them, and I'm conducting them largely as immersive experiential workshops. They are not classroom oriented, boardroom oriented, presentation based workshops. The
It doesn't
idea
have
is,
to be that.
yeah, idea is to encourage the participants to simulate an exercise, freeze it, and get them to reflect on it,
Absolutely.
and
You
then
can.
contextualize it to their work environment.
Yeah. So the thing is, the requirements are this. You have to design it, you have to deliver it. Okay. And you should be able to map the content to ICF core competencies. And if the organization can endorse it, that'll be fantastic.
I am the organization. I
Yeah.
am running it myself.
That's it.
Right. Also, my past work experience required me to work a lot with people. I was also director training for a large training establishment where we did a lot of work besides skilling on the emotional intelligence part of the soldiers. But it was about 4 years, 5 years back. So I was also wondering, will I be able, can I pull out something from there to map it to the requirements?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can.
Right. Do we have a list of these competency requirements on the website?
Competencies are there on the website. Yeah. Competencies are
No.
there. I can show it to you. I'll show it to you.
Right.
Yeah. What other questions can I ask?
One other
I mean, what do
question
you want?
Shripad has posted here. Shripad, would you like to come off mute and ask your question?
Yeah, hi, Srikanth. This is a question, like I have attended ACSTH training long back. Now people who undergo L1 training, their assessments, that is coaching transcripts or coaching videos are assessed by the institute. Institute does it within 4 weeks. But I have done ACSTH, I will be only taking a piece of mentor coaching from someone. So that facility doesn't seem to be available for me because I will have to submit to ICF, and that the TAT is 13 weeks.
Yeah.
Is there this 4 week bypass available for ACSTH?
Speak to your institute whether they can facilitate it for you.
The one which I attended ACSTH from
Ask them.
long back.
Ask them. I'm sure they'll do it for a cost.
Yeah, cost anyway, it's always there. Only thing that will give me is that 9 week advantage. Otherwise,
So I'll also tell you, Shripad, it is not an advantage actually. Now I know of an institute, I can't take name. You go through the level 2 path, you submit a recording, they will take minimum 4 weeks to approve. Okay? Now ICF is going to take another 4 weeks extra.
you quote 13 weeks. You know?
So Sunita will tell. Sunita, how much time they took?
14.
No, your application, Sunita.
Yeah, to about 12 weeks.
Right.
So you'll have to figure that out.
Okay. Not that I am into a tearing hurry. That 9
Yeah.
week gap, it's not catastrophic.
So,
Thank you.
can I come in with another question, please?
Sure, go ahead.
So another thing that has been happening as part of these facilitations that I run, these workshops that I run, invariably at the end of the workshop, one odd participant reaches out to say that if I can get in one-on-one conversation, and those conversations have started. So parallelly, I am having conversations around their issues that they are raising with about 4 or 5 such participants. Of course, it is just pro bono, nothing being charged. Based on my experience, whatever I offer them, if they find useful, and they are sticking out with me for almost now 6, 7, 8 weeks. So I was just wondering how this can be channelized into a certification compliance requirement for ICF.
This is
What I'm
client
already-
coaching hours. They'll be
Okay,
considered as client coaching hours.
okay. So the proof of that is to be given as a docket number put on the form, or do I need to share anything else?
You just have to maintain a log. ICF will not ask for documentation. They ask for a declaration.
Okay. Right.
And they are expecting you to be ethically,
Of course.
yeah, because there's no way that they can verify.
Of course.
There's
Thank
a
you.
format in which they would like all the coaches to maintain the log. So the format is available on the website.
Okay. Thank you.
Shrikant, would you like to share the CC programs that you said that you will show on that are there on the ICF website?
Just give a minute. I will just show it to you. Where do I? Okay, coachingfederation.com. Okay. Let's go to coachingfederation.com.
Farooq is asking, do chemistry sessions, if they are 1 hour long, are they countable against coaching hours? Yeah. Discovery sessions, chemistry sessions, are they counted as coaching hours?
Yeah, absolutely. Pro bono.
Pro bono.
Where is it? Wait, I know where it is. I'm just checking it. Coaching education. Just a minute. Where is it? Professional coaches. I'm just searching for it. Just give me coaching education. Oh, yeah, it's here. Sorry, it's here. Okay. All right, so here we go. You go to the website, ICF website. Here, find coaching education. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay,
Can
I'll
see it
just
now.
I'll go from the beginning.
Hmm.
You're in the home page. You're in the home page, and then you click on coaching education here. When you click here, it will go to find coaching education. Okay. Now here, view ESS. View. Then you can look for just CC. Okay.
Okay.
And then search. Your list, long list. If you just want to modify your search and say, okay, only give me CCs which are done virtual, just do that. Search. And it'll give you the virtual ones. Okay. Or if you say, okay, this is too long a list, I only want CCs which are provided, let it be combined virtual or whatever, only in where? In India, let's assume India, okay? Okay, let's do India. Search. Yeah, India. Okay. So these CC programs which are available in India. Okay, so let's modify the search again. CC, you don't select anything. It was a combination of virtual and in-person. You just leave it free. Then it will give you all of it. And you find my institute here. So you click on this, deepen your coaching. These are the two things that I do. Click on this, and then it will show you the details. How many core competencies? 15, resource development 20, organization details, program description, contact person, all of that. When is it approved? When is it expiring? Okay, go back to source. Okay, what else you want me to show?
I remember somebody else had a question. Would you like to ask? Anita, you had a question?
Yeah. So, Shrikant, what I understand is after you have completed your ICF certification, so you already have 60 hours of coach education, right?
Yeah.
So, to pursue PCC, it's like another 65 hours. So, how do you do that? Like, do you submit your 60 hours and then the 65 hours that you have counted? Because
Cumulative. It is cumulative.
so because the coaching institutes, it's like 125 hours of coaching is education which will be offered to you. So now I'm understanding that 60 hours is your ACC education, and then you give the cumulative 65 hours of. Okay, that was really helpful. Thank you.
Okay, let me just go back to the slides and finish this off. Okay. So ways to get your coaching education. ICF approved courses, I already mentioned that. ICF approved courses could be your level 1, level 2, level 3, ACSH, ACTP, CC programs. And then non-ICF approved courses, you can also use other courses if they teach ICF coaching skills and are taught by experts. Mentoring and coaching supervision, if you're getting mentored or supervised, that also can be counted as coaching education. Academic programs delivered by universities on coaching or similar topics can be considered. Self-directed learning. Learn on your own by reading, listening to coaching talks or ongoing. All whenever you do something in your own, evidence, documentation. Okay, right. Comparison of various parts. I'll very quickly go through this. Level 1, level 2, level 3, ACSH portfolio. Now I mentioned here, meticulous documentation of coaching education is required. Yes, it is required because level 1, level 2, level 3, ACSH, all of that, when the training provider provides the training to you, they have done all the hard work of giving the documentation from their side. Okay. So they're making life easy for you. However, of course, it's going to cost a lot of money for you. The portfolio, the advantage is that you can count all your coaching education that you have done in the past. So you're not going to spend again, you're not going to lose time. Yes, you're going to spend a little bit of time doing your documentation. Having said that, if you accumulate the coaching education hours from the ICF Learning Portal, right? ICF Learning Portal, even without being a member, it will give you close to about 60 hours of coaching education for free. The moment you become a member, it opens up to about 250 coaching hours. Yeah, so that's the thing. Now, pros and cons of various parts. Just go through the list. If you have any question, ask me. More complex credentialing process, I'll tell you the reason. Potentially time consuming, uncertainty in training education. Yeah. This is how it appears to you. More complex credentialing process. What is the reason? You are getting a coaching education from somewhere. You go and get your mentoring from somebody else. And you are submitting the recordings for performance evaluation. It's going to take a little bit more time. And documentation has to be provided. That's going to take a little bit of time. That's the reason it looks very complex. But if you get hold of somebody who understands the portfolio path, it'll be easy because that person has walked the path once. They're going to tell you, do A, B, C, D, and you're done. Otherwise, if you decide to do everything in your own, you will keep doing this forever. Okay. Right. Now, let me just come to my cohorts, the way that I ran it. So these are the cohorts that I ran this year, February, June and September, 7 people in Feb, 9 in June, 9 in September. So one person already received the PCC credential. She's hosting me today. 2 people have passed the performance evaluation. They have to write the exam. One person will apply this year, 2024. One will apply next year, 2025. June batch, 2 will apply before end of this year. 4 will apply before 2025. They are all waiting for the 500 hours of client coaching. And there are 9 people who will apply next year, December. They have to complete their client coaching hours. MCC mentor coaching cohorts, Jan, May, and August, 4, 5, 7 numbers. One will apply for MCC before December 2024. 2 will apply March 2025. 1 will apply for MCC by 2020. This person has to accumulate coaching hours. This person has already got it. These 2 people will get it before March and they'll apply. May batch, 1 has already applied. They're waiting for their results. 1 will apply for MCC before March 2025. 3 will apply before 2025 December. August batch, this is the status. These are the PCC and MCC mentor coaching cohorts. One-on-one, 1 has already received their credentials in 2023 December. Last year, they are in their MCC journey with me and they will apply in March. 1 has passed the PCC performance evaluation, waiting for the credential exam. 1 will apply for the PCC credentials in November 2023, this month. MCC mentor coaching one-on-one. 1 has received the MCC credentials in May 2024. 2 have applied for the MCC credentials in September 2024. And 1 has started the engagement this month. Now, this is the case study of Deepa Mahesh, who cleared her PCC last year through the portfolio path. This is the cost benefit analysis that we did. The person did AC, if the person pursued ACTP or level 2, training would have been this much. Mentoring is nil because training would have covered all of it. Application fee is about 30,000. They would have spent about 3.25 lakhs. If they took the ACHS path, this is what they would have invested. Portfolio, they invested only this much. The reason being, they only had to pay for the mentoring. And the application fees, of course, a little bit more than the ACHS path. Training, they did not spend anything because they already had significant amount of coaching education, plus they leveraged the learning portal to finish their required coaching education hours. Okay. So that's all I have to share. If you have any questions, I'm going to answer. I'm launching my next PCC and MCC cohorts. PCC cohort is getting launched on the 3rd week of January. MCC is getting launched on the 4th week of February. Yeah, if you want information, I can provide you that. Yeah, Preeti, go ahead and ask.
So I was just going through this Shrikant yesterday on the website and everything, and the application, which is now for the members, it is 675 only.
For which one?
For MCC? Yeah.
Yeah, 675 or 750?
No, 750 for
Oh, they have reduced it, is it? Because they increased the annual membership fee for the members. Because
so
of that.
Yeah. So 800 is the non-member fee. And if you were a member already, which I am, it's a 675. So it's
so they must have done the change because they increased the annual membership fee from 245 to 270. So they must have reduced the application fee then.
Yeah. So now current, okay. So in that case, it is 1 lakh for the this thing with you. And
no,
plus
1 lakh was my old My MCC new batch portfolio path is 1.5 lakhs for the MCC. What you saw is PCC. Old.
Okay.
Deepa Mahesh's that you saw is
Ha,
the
ha.
old one. Yeah.
Acha, acha. Okay, got it.
So
I have
there
one
was,
more
Yeah, Anita,
question.
go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah.
please go ahead.
So, Shrikant, you're talking about the PCC recording. You said one or two, and you said you will, let us know at the end the performance evaluation. So, what is that?
One recording is if you go to the level 2, the institute will take a decision to clear your PCC with one recording. If you are taking the portfolio route, you have to submit 2 recordings to ICF.
Okay. Thank you.
Maruk, would you like to ask your question? The question that you asked in the beginning?
You're muted, Maharu.
You're on mute.
I'm wondering which one that was because I asked a whole slew of them.
Yeah,
You
so
asked
you were
about what are
asking
the
about the
different courses
integration,
available.
the courses
Okay.
available and how to
So,
integrate. Yeah.
So when you are doing a level 1, level 2, level 3, there's a very clear structure and you're working towards, clearly working towards the competencies, etc. When you have learning scattered from various sources and you have to integrate it into really showing up as the coach at the level that you're looking at, how does one actually do that? So one way is the mentoring, but is there any other way that one can?
There is no other way that I know of.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the focus is on getting the hours rather than saying, does this piece then fit into this piece?
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel it's also a very conscious effort required when one chooses to take the portfolio.
That's the reason I keep repeating this again and again. Portfolio may not be the path for everybody. Yeah, it's a path less traveled. But having said that, it's very enriching.
May I share something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've done level 2 and level 3. I was going through my certificates. I realized I did level 2 twice, which I didn't even realize. That's a different story altogether, which we'll take offline. However, the learning that I have had through mentoring has been far richer than my actual programs. And I want to say this in this community, very, very honest.
Thank you. Thank you
They've
for
been
saying
rich
that.
programs. Programs have been good. No disrespect to the programs. But somehow that everything coming together has happened a lot more in the mentoring. So I just wanted to share.
Yeah, and
I also agree with that because I've been part of your mentor coaching. I've learned a lot more than what I've learned in my coaching training time. Yeah. Preeti, you were saying something.
yeah. So, so I don't have the experience of mentoring, but with Shrikant yet. But what I can say is that I remember last time the class, this demystifying portfolio path and other things, the time that he told and the explanation was so clear. I'm still, again in the class. But what it helped me big time, because at that time I decided that I'll go via portfolio path, and I did my PCC training already was done. So for the renewal part, I thought that I will go this. It was so easy and smooth, and I've been following everything that he has told here with the CCs and all of that. So it has been all I want to tell on this forum is it's very, very easy to be on the ICF portal and take those courses one by one every day, maybe. And that's how I did it. And 40 hours just happened like that. So one that, and now that I'm thinking about the MCC, it is again, I've understood from him. So it's portfolio path, as he said, road less travel, but it is very interesting. It's not, and it's easy. It's very easy for you to kind of do at your own pace and then take a good mentoring, have a good mentor and then get it done. So yeah.
Get hold of a mentor that you can vibe and jive. It need not be me.
I also want to add one more thing. The group mentoring is very, very useful.
Absolutely.
Very
Yeah,
useful.
yeah.
You can easily replace any of the level programs with the group mentoring.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Do we have any other questions? Rajesh, do you have any questions? Was your question
No.
answered?
Yeah, very much.
Okay.
So
All
now I
right.
have the clarity of what are the different aspects to be looked upon along with the cost. It's really helpful. Thanks.
Great. Asha, Shuchi, Sharma, do you all have any questions?
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you, Shrikant, and thank you, everyone. I have one question. I have done a lot of training in 2023, and I plan to give my PCC next year. So, would that all be still valid, the training hours that I have spent earlier?
Training hours on what, Suchi, if you can?
On coaching skills.
They're not
I did
ICF
some-
approved?
Yeah, it's from an ICF approved institute.
Then there's no problem. It'll get, yeah. You're on the right track.
Okay.
Okay, so I have just uploaded the PCC portfolio and the MCC portfolio path mentoring cohorts that I'm starting in Jan and Feb. Just if you're interested, you can go through it and reach out to me. Here is my email ID, which com, and my WhatsApp is +9199456408. Okay.
So Shrikant, one quick question. Sorry, last. See, in
Go ahead.
the level 2, you mentioned that we need 125 hours of training. And for the level 1, it is 60 hours. If I already have the...
No, wait. Don't confuse. Level 1 and level 2 are coaching education programs.
Correct.
ACC credentials, you need minimum 60 hours. PCC credentials, you need 125 hours.
So, okay. So PCC of this 125 hours is separate. Or it is inclusive of 60 hours of ACC?
It's including. I already told, no? I already told Anita.
So, in
it's
that
cumulative.
case, in the cumulative. So in that case, if I already have 80 hours in ACC, so I need to do only 45 hours?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, done.
Yeah, Shripad, go ahead.
So you have uploaded two portions. One is PCC mentoring, other one is MCC mentoring, right? Is there anything different for ACC, like बच्चों के लिए कुछ सस्ता वाला है, some कम वाला
बच्चों के लिए
है?
सस्ता वाला, you need to WhatsApp and we need to have a conversation.
Is there a separate one for ACC as a technical requirement? I'm asking, or it is technically it is the same.
It is the same. If you are coming to me, it's the same because I'm an MCC. I can mentor for ACC, PCC, and MCC.
No, but when you are, let's say, mentoring PCC and I am a part of that batch, will it be overwhelming for a kid?
It'll be an advantage for you, no?
Because people will be talking from that level, and yeah, I'm just 70 hours in, 70,
Don't
75
assume.
hours.
Don't assume people will be talking at that level.
Okay. Yeah, well, anyway, we are going to meet on 30th and talk it over.
Sure.
Vinisha, do you have any questions?
Yeah, if I may ask here. So, hi Shrikant. I actually
Hi.
got your reference through Rampriya. So,
Oh yeah, Rampriya. Oh yeah. She mentioned that. Yeah.
exactly,
Correct.
yeah. So I said I'll attend this session today and then I'll connect with you. So I'm on my PCC journey. I intend to give my exam by February. I've completed the training hours along with my ACC, which I did 3 years ago itself. She was talking about some kind of practice sessions for the exam. Now, my question is, do I have to give the exam again or I don't need to give the exam again? I did the ACC 3 years ago.
You have to do the exam. For PCC,
I
you have
did
to
the
do the credentialing
exam that time.
3 years ago, you would have done a CKA. Now you
Okay,
have to do
yeah.
the ICF credentialing exam.
Okay. Okay. So that's a different format is what I understand from what we did
Yes,
that
yes.
time.
Yeah, yeah.
So for that, there are some preparatory classes or something that you take.
I'm doing a cohort in January.
Okay. And is that the same that you displayed here just now? That's different.
No. That's a mentoring cohort for credentials.
Okay. Yeah. So I would wish to get details of that cohort, maybe.
If
Yeah.
you have my number, if you can text
Yes.
me,
I've
I
got your
will
number.
send you a link for the masterclass that I did on demystifying the credentialing exam. You can
Okay.
go through it, and then
Okay.
if you feel that you still need the cohort, you can let me know.
Sure. Done. Done. Thanks so much.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, Preeti, go ahead.
Shrikant, in the mentoring sessions, the 10-hour mentoring that you will do, is the preparation for an exam covered or it's separate?
No, it's not covered. It's not covered.
And you do that for the MCC also?
I do it separately. Yeah.
And it's separate, right? And it's not, I mean, monetary also, it is of course not a part of mentoring.
Yeah. Because see, it's also approved for 10 CCs, my credentialing exam preparation.
Acha, okay, that will count towards the
Coaching
10
education.
CCs.
yeah, totally get that. Okay. And what's the cost of that? That again has to be texted to you and then got
No,
the
that's January, it will be launched at 15K.
the exam preparation.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorted.
Okay, so we don't seem to have any other
Yeah.
questions. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
everyone.
with that, yeah.
Thank you, Shrikant. Thank you, Sunita.
If you still have
welcome.
questions, you have my email ID, WhatsApp number, just ping me. All right.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank you.
Shrikant.
Thank you,
so much,
Shrikant. Thank you,
Sunita.
Sunita.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.